those idiot critics? I want them here 5 minutes ago! Go away, I'm busy!
It's us, Mr. Jameson. It's SurferClock and TAP-G.
Well, don't just stand out there. Get in here! Where the devil have you two been? We go to press in an hour and I still need your crummy little ride review. What's the attraction? More like, what's your deal?
Mr. Jameson, we're almost done. Honestly, we just have to go do a final discussion and rating. Then we'll be good to go.
You better be, or else you're gonna come down with a case of the just got fired. You boys got a photo with your column?
No. We usually hire another guy to draw us some cover art.
What is this, kindergarten? I run a quality paper here, you yahoos! Miss Blanchett, do we have any photographers on standby?
It's Parker, sir.
Fine. Send him in. No kid games at the Bugle, you two. I'm gonna make sure this 2-bit editorial of yours looks good enough for my paper. Now, this Parker kid is a moron, but he takes a few decent snapshots.
You really mean that, Mr. Jameson?
Don't get a big head, Parker. I need some pictures for these two guys in their column. What are you reviewing again?
The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man at Universal's Islands of Adventure, sir.
Excellent, perfect. Now we can finally show the world what a menace that punk Spider-Man really is. Can you get some good shots of him, Parker?
I think I can work something out.
Just make it happen. Now go!
Don't worry, guys. I'll get you some good pics. Name's Peter, by the way. Peter Parker. Oh, hey, Pete. I'm TAP-G, and this is SurferClock.
Whoa.
What was that? I don't know. Gotta go. Pics to snap. I wonder if he does that every time there's an explosion.
Makes him seem kind of flighty. But we should at least go over our notes for today's episode.
Good idea. Where should we start?
How about you start at the beginning?
Good idea, Mr. Ambiguous Elderly Janitor Guy with the yellow aviators and a cool mustache.
Thanks.
Thwip, Excelsior!
What a nice guy.
Well, according to my notes here, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man was an opening day attraction at Universal's Islands of Adventure at Marvel's Superhero Island, alongside The Incredible Hulk and Doctor Doom's Fearfall. Based more or less on the 1994 animated series, you begin your journey in the halls of New York's Daily Bugle, and you're all being hired as temporary, if not expendable, roving reporters.
Don't tell them that! We won't get them to sign up if they're under the impression they'll be in danger, and no roving reporters means no headlines!
In any case, you board your scoop vehicle and off you go to prowl the scum-ridden streets of the NYC.
I resemble that remark.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but we got spirit. Gotta go.
Should we call the cops, or the X-Men, or S.H.I.E.L.D., or the Justice League?
Careful, you want to start another internet trolling nerd war? Anyway, apparently some scum and villainy is afoot. A clan of Spidey's worst foes have stolen an anti-gravity gun and are trying to steal the Statue of Liberty. But who's responsible? It's the Sinister Six: Hydra Man, Electro, Scream, Dr. Octopus, and Hobgoblin. And
whoa, wait, hang on.
What?
That's only 5. Missing one, so what does that make them? What alliteration could you use? The Furious 5.
Taken.
The Fearsome 5?
Also taken.
The Flatulent 5?
Now that's just disgusting.
The Fiscal 5?
That doesn't even make sense.
The Flimsy 5?
Wait, what?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it!
Sorry. We're moving forward.
It's right here in my notes. The Sinister Syndicate. Yeah, these baddies are tearing up New York, stealing Old Lady Liberty, and there's only one superhero who can put a stop to them.
Spider Pig, does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig.
What in blazes is going on out there?
Sorry, Mr. Jameson. Dude, we gotta cool it with the extraneous sound effects. Besides, deadline's approaching.
Right. Okay. Your scoop vehicle tags along, both following the Spider-Man and the whereabouts of the serendipitous syndicate. But, like in most movies where the dumb main character decides, hey, I'm gonna follow the bad guys and see what they're up to so I can report them and be a hero. Guess what happens? Yeah, you get caught by the bad guys.
Dang kids. They get too many ideas from all those comic books they read.
So naturally, the sensitive syndicate turned their attention onto you, and guess who has to save your meddling keister? No one but your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. At every corner, someone's coming after you. Hydro Man trying to drown you, Electro trying to shock you, Doc Ock trying to punch you, Scream trying to shatter your eardrums, and Hobgoblin trying to blow-upify you.
Fortunately, Spidey's on it. Well, sort of. It's a tall order trying to stop the Syndicate, return the Lady Liberty, and keep you and fellow intern reporters out of the villains' crosshairs. But of course, the villains get a few lucky shots. Things get even crazier when you get hit by the anti-gravity gun, and you are all sent skyward. In reality, your vehicle glides from one 3D screen to the next, and feeling every tremble, splash, and heat blast they throw at you. The floating upward into the Manhattan skyline? Just a few visuals of being way up high, and a tilting ride vehicle dupe you into a sense of floating upward.
Does Spider-Man put a stop to the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious syndicate? What do you think?
Oh, and don't forget to find all the cute little inside jokes pertaining to Spider-Man and his history. Like original Marvel artist Jack Kirby, or the appearance of one of his other creators, the irrepressible Stan Lee. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times on the ride.
Glory hog. So now the question becomes this. Is this ride deserving of its headliner status, or should it be shoved into the classifieds?
I'm going to go ahead and say headliner.
Headliner, absolutely.
Right from the start. Now, most folks know by now that we have already reviewed Transformers.
Yep.
And really, Spider-Man was the precedent for it.
Very much so. In fact, even the storyline's almost identical.
Yeah, if you take a good look at it, beat for beat, it's almost just like Transformers.
But a bunch of random people get hired, you're going after these villains, they're taking over the world, you get thrown in the middle of the action, and the heroes come to save your butt. It's almost no differentiation, just different franchises.
Yeah, what's funny is I actually have not ridden it without the enhancements, because it did receive a recent high-def upgrade. All the screens are 4K screens. It's kind of the new standard for both motion picture and 3D films.
Yeah, I didn't get to ride the old one either.
So I can't say how much of an improvement it is, but the effects, barring some, look pretty incredible.
Yeah. On the other hand, too, some of the CGI just has not aged very well. In some of the scenes where you see just the random citizens of New York running around, they almost look like they came straight out of 1995's Toy Story, and I don't really mean that as a compliment. They just look a little too stiff.
I suppose so. Now, as far as the story of the ride itself, I think it's pretty good as far as theme park stories go.
When you get down to it, there isn't much you can do when it comes to superheroes other than be involved in the action. You got the villains, you got the hero, and you get to see the explosions, the running around, the screaming, and this is really kind of the best way to go about it.
I think it does a pretty good job of immersing you into it.
I even do like that they take the time to showcase each of the villains' strategies and attacks to show you exactly what Spider-Man's up against. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's a guy who has webs that sling out of his wrists, and he has the equivalent strength of a spider, compared to a guy who can turn to water or one that can supersonic scream.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the villains are unique and creative, and it really lends a sense of atmosphere to this ride.
Granted, there's no Venom. Just thought of that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. He's kind of the quintessential Spider-Man villain.
Sure.
I mean, I know you're not a huge Spider-Man guy to begin with.
No, I've never really been a huge fan of, Spider-Man. I remember the animated series, but only because my brother would watch it.
I just remember the commercials with the toys, so I kept seeing, oh, there's the green crocodile in the lab coat.
Yeah, and, Fox Kids always had the advertisements and all that, so
yeah,
we saw those, too. But that being said, this ride still holds up, even if I'm not really all that educated with the Spider-Man canon.
One of the things I liked best about this was all rides are adaptations of their source material.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least the ones that are based on other franchises. And there was an article recently that talked about how it was comparing this ride to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which, like Transformers and like Spider-Man, was you're being thrust into the action and the hero has to save your butt. Which is, again, good story, good strategy. But the problem with Harry Potter is Harry just shouts exposition as you're going from one scene to the next, like, leave them alone! Over here! I'm over here! Things like that. Meanwhile, with Spider-Man, you hear him say all sorts of witty jokes and puns. Like I think probably my favorite is when you're floating upwards, you hear, "Oh, hey, that's not covered under your insurance," or whatever he says. And that definitely captures the wit of Spider-Man, because that's what makes him unique among heroes, is he, being the young kid he is, he has a very whippy repartee with whoever he's talking to, and this really shines.
Yeah, it's probably the best adaptation of his actual character that we've seen in any sort of adaptation.
He doesn't just shout exposition like Harry does.
Yeah.
And also, we need to take a moment to mention how cool that Q is, just walking through the halls of the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a little bit to see, and like the pre-show, you see like the stuff on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. It kind of helps to build the atmosphere of it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's not too terribly much to see. I like that the team members are kind of dressed up like, Daily Bugle people.
Yeah. And I think probably the greatest joke I've seen in the entire ride is the final joke at the end. I won't give it away, not just because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I don't want certain people to hear it. You'll see it just as you're about to get off.
Yeah.
Great action shots, great cue, action-packed. I give this a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm actually going to have to go ahead and agree. It's a 3.5 out of 5. While this isn't like a super remarkable ride, I would say it's pretty marvelous.
Yeah. Funny guy.
So, that's a 3.5 out of 5 from SurferClock and a 3.5 out of 5 from TAP-G.
Are you yahoos still just standing there? You got 30 minutes to press!
Let's see. This ride has a minimum height requirement of 40 inches or 102 centimeters. Those between 40 and 48 inches must ride with a supervising adult. If you're pregnant or claustrophobic, it's recommended you pass up this adventure. Oh, also, if you suffer from back, neck, or heart problems, it's best if you sit this one out as well. Same thing if you get aggravated by fog effects, strobe effects, or get motion sickness.
If you're riding in a wheelchair or a scooter, you will need to transfer into the ride vehicle. Closed captioning and assistive listening devices are available for guests who require them. Service animals are permitted, but do ask a team member for loading assistance, and do be aware of the sometimes wild nature of this ride.
If you're a fan of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, hit it up. Just make sure you can handle your scoop vehicle being up and away, and some of those crazy moves are not for the weak of stomach. Remember, you're thrust right in the middle of the action of a battle between Spidey and the Substantial Syndicate. It's kind of rough, but it's a fun kind of rough. Like a mini war zone in downtown Manhattan.
Dude, look out there! Spidey just took down Venom!
Wow, awesome! You think Peter's down there taking photos?
Well, he'd better be. He wouldn't want to miss this. You couldn't ask for a better photo op if one slapped you right in the face.
Hey man, we're done with the review. Let's go take this over to press before the deadline hits.
Whoa!
What the? Who attaches a camera to a spider web? Who does that?
Well, if I had to guess...
Say queso!
Excelsior!